Hey everyone, today we're going to go from this right to this, and I'm going to show you how next. Hey everyone, it is Kevin here from Stamp Anything, and today we're going to color up this adorable little monkey image from the brand new Just Curious stamp set. So we're going to color this monkey, his little paintbrush, and his bucket. So let's dive right in there and get to coloring and having some fun. So we're going to be starting with the fur, and for the fur we're going to be using E2723, E27, 25, 23, and 21. And let's start with that fur. So our E27 is our milk chocolate color here. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to throw on my reading glasses because I want to be able to color with and make sure I stay coloring inside the lines. So I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm just going to create little flicks coming out from the bottom of his fur. And that's what we are doing. We're coloring this little Curious George's fur, and I already colored outside the line. Look at that. And do I even have my colorless blender ready and handy? Oh, I got it. I do. So of course, if you have seen any of my coloring videos before, you know that I hate coloring outside the lines, and I always usually have my colorless blender handy to erase any mistake that I might have. Alright, so let's try that again. Alright, so here we go. So I'm going to be coloring in anywhere where I want that shadow and that darkest color to be. So 2 right here under his chin. I want that a little darker, and into his shoulder. And I'm going to put a little bit here by that leg and the bottom of his belly. And here into his arm there. And I'm going to add it around his face on both sides, around his head here. Just like that. And I'm going to come out a little bit from the middle as well. Oh, and I forgot, I'm going to have a little shadow there as well. So that is our E27, and I just saw that I'm coloring way over there. So let's move this little monkey right back over for us. All right. So now our next color up is our E25. So that's our Carib Cocoa. So I'm just gonna go in here. I'm gonna just build up on the colors that we already have into that shadow area, swoop around his arm there. His arm. So these images are nice and small, so they are super quick to get colored, which is really nice when you want to be creating a card or something for someone and you're like, oh, what should I color? Well, wouldn't this stamp be awesome to just grab and color right up super quick? So now I'm going to grab our E23, which is our hazelnut. Let's kind of get that into focus there. So our hazelnut. So now I'm kind of going in, and I'm going to be filling in now where I had left any of those, any of that white space. But we're going to do 2 coats here of our coloring with our Copics. So this is kind of just to fill it in, kind of get a blend in there, get a nice base layer. And we'll work on developing that color a little bit more. And I went outside the line, blah blah blah. I went outside the line again. Some days I don't know if I can speak or not. So, and we would be coloring over his face anyway in a little bit, in his ears, but I like to have it as clean as possible if I can. And I'll just retouch under here. All right, so we're going to go back in with our E27. I'm going to go in a little bit more carefully this time. I'm going to bring his fur out a little bit more, a little deeper into that curve, under his neck, and then into this other leg right over here. I'm going to come out this side a little bit this time. And into the arm, a little shadowed. Right here above his ear. On each side. Again up into just above his forehead there. And you can see that I went into his ear. So again, drives me crazy. So we're going to go ahead and fix that. Now too, this image is zoomed in a lot. So you can see any little mistake even more exaggerated than what it really is. But I'm going to be careful. So my E25, that Crepe Cocoa, is next. And I'm just kind of going over and extending it a little bit more. And just adding a little bit in there just to give him a little bit of texture. And again, making sure we have the depth where we need it. And then it is our E23, which is our hazelnut. That is next again. And I'm just going to come out a little further from that E25. Just kind of filling that in. And again, usually as we do a second pass, it kind of deepens those colors a little bit more. And then I'm going to use my E21 just to add a little bit, touch of highlight in there as well. So that's E21, which is a little soft sun. And I'm going to put that 2 near his feet and his hands a bit. And just anywhere that I just want like a touch of warmth and highlight in there. So now that we have that done, we're going to move on to his face color. So his face is going to be E53, 51, and 50. So I'm going to start with my 5-3. So this is his face and like his ears and all the light parts of him and his like hands and his feet. So right now I'm going to start at the base of his foot right there. This is that E53, so this is raw silk. And into his fingers a little, and his little, I'm calling it a thumb. Round up into his cheeks. Just on both sides. And into his ears as well. And we'll curve this one around. Around just a little heavier of his eyes. And then into his nose. I'm just going to go across the top of his mouth a little bit too. So now the E51, this is where I'm going to do a little bit more blending, but I'm going to just kind of shape out those eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of flip our little monkey around, and then I'm just going to make sure that I'm going to take this, just make sure that I am leaving some white space under his eye. Then come up beside the pupil here. Just wanted to make sure that I leave a little bit of that white space underneath. So I know it's looking kind of strange right now, but now we'll go back into his feet, and I'm going to push that color up into his little fingers, around his mouth a little bit more, under his nose. I'm going to go above his eyes here, into his ears. So that was the E5-1. Now I'm getting in there with that E5-0. So this is our eggshell color. So our E5-0. Then here I'm going to bring this color down from like here, his big toe and into his foot. And then make sure I blended his little fingers and his thumb holding that brush well. I'm going to go over his whole ear now, blend that in. And then into the mid part of his face, and up around those. Above his eyebrows, I don't know what to call that. Here, just kind of sure everything blends, and in that nose, in his face. It's looking pretty cute. Now I do want to do his cheeks. I want to get them a little bit rosy. So I'm going to use two colors real quick here. So I'm going to take my R21, which is our sardonyx. Again, I don't name the Copic colors. I'm going to just kind of blend that into his cheek here. I'm going to give him nice rosy cheeks. I'm going to keep it rounded right there. And then from that R21, I'm going to go in with our R20. So it's our blush. I'm going to add that in here. I'm going to round it up there. So once I've got his blush kind of color in there, it looks very strange right now. I'm going to go back in with my E5-0. So it looks strange because it's also like blown up and zoomed in. But now I'm going to kind of blend it out and soften it now with that E5-0. Now we can kind of get that idea of what we're going on with there. So once we've got that, we're going to do his tongue, and his tongue is going to be E04, and it's just a tiny, tiny little spot. So I'm just going to put a little E04 on each kind of outer corner there. And then I'm just going to blend that in with our R20 that we just used in his cheeks. We're just going to go back and forth there just to get that to blend and meld in. Super cute and easy so far, I think. So now that we basically got him done, and that wasn't too long at all. So next up, we are going to color this little bucket that he's got his paint in. So for that, we're using our C's, C5, C3, C1, C0, and we're going to use a little bit of B. We're using our B000. So C5 is our first color up. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that dark just towards the bottom of the bucket and come up here, a little bit above that handle. Then I'm going to move to our C3 is next. I'm going to come above that handle and I start to color in here. So that was our C3, our C1, and again, you can see how quickly this is going. So I'm going to go over near that bottom part of the bucket there. I'm going to flip them around because I left that little bit of white space. And I'm just going to kind of push that down here. Fill that in. That was our C1. And then our C0 here. Just going to come onto the inside here and go around on that outer edge of the bucket and in that handle. And then up in here under those strips. And in this edge. That was nice and easy. So now I'm going to take my B000 here. And I'm just going to add it just a little bit right on this outside edge here. A little bit into that handle. Just going to make just the tiniest little bit of difference and give us a little glow in there. Then for the brush handle, we're going to be using E35, 33, and 31. So this is going to be super simple. I'm keeping this to the bottom, so it's E35, E33, and E31 right to here now too. And then we're going to go in with our C3. We're going to put that right here at this little base of the brush. And now it is time to get some paint color in there. So I'm going to be using RB25, 23, and 21. We're going to keep it nice and simple. So RB25 is our dog rose flower. There you go. So I'm going to add that paint color right into here. It's going to be nice and vibrant. But I'm going to do all of it at the same time. So all the little drips, all the little splatters. And considering it coming from one can, and this little curious monkey has gotten into trouble and he is getting paint everywhere. So now our RB23, our pure pink, is next. Sorry, I keep on moving it off the screen a little bit. I'm just gonna fill that drip in. Put it in here. And then our RB21, which is our light pink. Flip them around here again. So I'm just having that brush look like it's very well saturated with that color. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. So I've got all this paint brush, paint splatter, the paint in the can. Good. I'm going to give this also a little bit of pink glow there. A little bit on that handle. So Curious George is looking pretty cute. So what I'm going to do is I'm grabbing one of my fine liners. So I'm grabbing a 0.05. So this is a Hoo fine line drawing pen, and this is a 0.05. So right here, 0.05. And you can see that the pen nib is very tiny. And I'm just adding a few little hash marks in there just to make it look a little bit more like a brush. I'll kind of go in there. Might add a little bit of extra defining lines right into that bucket a little bit. Nice and easy. And then I'm going to take, nope, I grabbed the wrong marker. I'm going to be using a white gel pen for his highlights. So let's make sure we got this. Make sure you get your gel pen to work before you put it on your paper. This one is not working for me. And I've stored it upside down, so I don't know. I'm trying. There we go. Now I found one. So I'm going to use my white gel pen, and I'm going to just increase the size of those eye highlights. It makes them look just a bit more expressive, just a little cuter. You could add a little bit of highlight to your bucket. You could add a little bit into some of your little paint splatters. And there you go. You have a cute little monkey, or a cute little George from the Just Curious set. Thank you for joining me, and don't forget to stamp it, color it, and love it. We'll see you next time, and thank you very much for watching.